Okay. So, welcome everybody to another great edition of Three Guys Media. Today we're having a very amiable guest with us today. Irene, say hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Irene.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome.
Irene is joining us today because the topic we are going to be hitting on, borders around women, and then how much of the women representative do we have in the Nigerian political space, and if at all their voices are heard or they are able to, you know, what's that word again? If they're able to change certain narrative around Nigerian political scope or space. So my name is Collins Eto, as you know, and then we have another bigger man in the house, my boss. I will allow him to introduce himself.
Easy Chukwu.
Yeah, okay. Very short introduction. So, okay, so like we say, we're the Three Guys Media. Please, we'd like you to, subscribe to our page, leave your comments, tell us what you feel about this conversation. We want you to have your say. We want you to tell us what you think. Are women fit to lead? Is there a psychological, power behind women leading in Nigeria? So far, we've just had one governor, that's a woman. I don't think she even stayed so long. Was it up to just months when Peter Obi had his case in court
Is it
during
VT about something? Yeah.
his governorship saga? So yeah, a woman took over at that time.
Was by chance.
Yeah, so we want to also want by chance, but at least she got in now. So so we also look into mental fitness. Is it necessary to like, are there any mental fitness that are making women, to be shortchanged in the leadership conversation? And so this show today will dive deep into issues shaping our world today, and we will try to understand clearly the difference between power and personality. You get, do you need to be a man to rule well? Are men even doing well enough? Do we need more women in the space? Because for a long time now, a lot of people are saying, give women a chance and then let's see if they can begin to change things. Not just as advisors, because that's what it always is, but give them good representation and let's see how far they can go. So yeah, so we will be dissecting all this, and we have a woman representation here, so she would give us the woman power and an angle to that. Okay, so yeah, so let's
Well,
just dive in.
this is still not equal
Okay,
because
so guys,
it's only her that is here, and there is two of us. Yeah, but anyway,
but
go on. Sorry for
women
that.
have strong powers. Women have strong powers, and then at the end of the day, you would think that they do not know how to control narratives, but man, I know they can. So, but then again, um, there's been a lot of conversation, just the way we talked about
Yeah.
what they call it, not too young to run. Why I talk about it because of I followed it up from the start of that bill to when it became domesticated in a lot of our policies. And then at some point there was a very big cry that women should be given some certain level of political representation. And so I think successive governments have tried to see how they can, push women into certain leadership spaces. For now, I think we have an increased number of women in National Assembly compared to how it was when we got back democracy. We've had about 4 or 5 deputy governors,
Yeah.
although we know very well that deputy governors, their position in Nigeria is just more like a
Ceremonial.
title. They
Yeah.
practically don't do anything. You get
That
ceremonial. They stay for a whole 4, 8 years and you don't even know who they are. At some point, I was shocked when I now heard after a while that Tinubu's deputy that time was a woman. I was like, what? I
Yeah.
never knew. I didn't know
Yeah.
this woman up until
Well,
she was talking about before the last election. Made some
she hates
statements. Get
Tinubu.
so,
God, sorry.
but then again, eh?
She hates Tinubu's
What do you say?
guts. She doesn't like Tinubu at all. the former deputy now.
Yeah. So, former deputy, yeah, she actually had some reservations with Tinubu's candidacy. But then again, so the conversation has been raging on. Women have been clamoring, women are holding stakeholders engagements, conferences, seeing how they can push more women into the political space, even starting from as small as primary, secondary school. A lot of these organizations are now taking it to the grassroots, seeing how they can begin to push women into accepting that they are part of the system. Because for a long time, the African nature, African space has constantly made women look like they are just supposed to be at home, not
In the
have
kitchen.
serious say in the political space. What are you even doing there? And it's worse when you go to certain areas of the country where they don't even want women to go to school first. So if you don't go to school, how do you begin to prepare yourself for
To compete.
representation or for political office? So you can't compete. So you are at a disadvantage from an early side. So, but then again, government have been able to, push for it. Tinubu said that he would put more women in his cabinet. So far, so good. I don't know if they're up to 10. I don't know if they're up to 10. I'm not talking about the PSC and PO. Talking about offices that they have a say. They can, make certain policies that will affect the life of people and even women in general. And so for me, I would say categorically, there are very few states where you go and find women you know, taking a good chunk of the electoral or the political conversation. Um, at some point, like we all know, Peter Obi had said it over and over again that when he was governor, he gave women a lot of opportunities. He put them in good places, and we've seen that happen after Peter Obi left office. I think even the current governor, Soludo, his commissioner for education is also a woman. I know her personally, so I can attest to that. And I think some other offices too, he actually did give to women. So to my own view, I feel like there's still more to be done. It is not enough. You can stay from January to December in Nigeria, and you won't see a time where a woman in office had done something so important that will begin to have conversations around her. It's always the men, and maybe because of they are in some kind of position that Goodluck Jonathan put Okonjo-Iweala in a position that we always had to refer to her. She was always the reference point. She was talking point in Jonathan's government.
It wasn't Jonathan. It wasn't Jonathan that. It was OBJ that brought her in, and then Jonathan reappointed her later.
But I'm talking about, the government, Jonathan's government was around her. She was the coordinating minister of the
Yeah,
economy. So it
yeah.
wasn't
She
around her.
she
She
was
was just
she was
operating.
popular then. Yeah.
She was at the helm of
Also,
everything. So yeah, so
yeah.
I yeah.
There was
So I'm saying that we need to have those people that will be the shapers of our economy, of our political space. Women that other people can look at and say, I want to be like this woman. I like her guts. I like that she's taking this front. I like that she's pushing. So I'll round up by saying the current senator in Abuja here, Ireti Kingibe, we voted for her in Abuja because the Labour Party push came to us too, and we wanted that. Since she got into power, we've seen how much the state has frustrated her. We've seen how much people have been dragging her down. The conversations might not be like, "Oh, she's a woman," but if you go down the street, talk to people, you will hear things like, "How did she even get there? A woman cannot manage this kind of big office." And that conversation it looks like a small conversation, but if it keeps going on and on and on, it becomes a problem. Last time we spoke about the possibility of her coming back for for a new tenure. We know how hard it is. We know what Wiki has said about her. We know what the fight to pull her down from that seat. So we actually need to begin to find a way to give women a chance to blossom in our political space. So that's my take. Let's come to our first lady in the house today. So tell us, before I go to Izu, I know Izu has some very compelling conversation when he talks. So I want to ask you first, What do you think? So far, so good. Since our return
It's on
to
this one.
democracy, do you feel women have been given enough opportunity to be part of the system politically?
Okay, I won't say it's like I think they've been given some spaces. Like I grew up in the southern part of Nigeria, and while growing up, I knew that I heard of a significant woman then, Senator Itagiwa. As little as I was, like those were the kind of women I heard of. I've forgotten the position she held, but she was a senator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
so
South.
I don't know what significant thing she did. And for this particular year in the financial sector, like Zenith Bank, I think there are like two banks that made women they are like head of whatever.
Yeah, Access Bank and
I don't know if I'm like, yeah, Access Bank and Zenith Bank. I'm really sure of Zenith Bank. And even First Bank. There's a woman there. What's her name? Is it Ibiodun?
yeah, and I think the
Would that
I don't
also
know,
be
maybe the
like a
former one
political?
was also a
Yeah.
woman
So
as well. I think
Awosika,
yeah.
talking
So
about
like
Awosika.
Awosika.
Awosika
yeah.
Yes,
has a big woman
Awosika.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, so
She
we've
was.
we've been given sports too. When I browsed online, they said like 20 offices are being held by women. I didn't go down to check which of the positions and what sector they belong to. But I think it's not really a great number as compared to men. But I think it's a good start in 2024. And it's not just Nigeria as a whole. You saw when Harris came up and that she wants to be the US president. Naturally, I don't think a man would just sit back and allow a woman like just overthrow him, whether the person has the mental capacity or not. I and Izu happened to work during internship and it was quite difficult because I had an opportunity to be the chief intern, but it was so difficult, like they were fighting it. Say no, a woman cannot be while there are men here, why should it be her? So like those opportunities, it was like a big tussle that at the end, like I don't know if that office was like mine because they refused to vote. Like why would it be her? It can't be her. They should vote another guy in. She should just be the assistant. She should be the deputy and all of that. So I think there are room for women, but compared to the rooms given to men or the position given to men, I think some of them we can still hear their voices. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, let me address this thing that Irene said. I wanted to point it out anyway, but like to be honest, it's just like you said, like when we were doing internship, so the guy that was the chief intern left. Irene was the deputy. Naturally, she's supposed to replace the guy. So, but then this thing started going in among everyone. We were like, ha, how you allow woman come they rule us now? We think they have from guy. We don't feel allow. Like we had nothing against the girl. You understand? But everybody was just like, woman, if you take that post now, nobody hated her. You understand? But then I think what now happened, it was a coup that happened. I think there was a lady that came in and prevented a vote because I didn't think there was a vote. Maybe they would have removed her. But then at the end, like she became the best. You understand? And each and every one of us that were like, we don't want this girl there. We had nothing against the girl, but maybe we just felt like just because she's a woman, she she was the like very effective in what she did. You know, cared about what's happening in everybody's life. Just she was just there for everybody, I would say. So she at the end, I would say we misjudged her, and then she disappointed us by performing beyond what we expected. So now that's the bias that I see is happening in Nigeria. You understand? Among the population, there is this inherent bias that comes when it, like that we all have when it comes to women holding high offices. You understand? And then it also, in the case of Nigeria, where let's say Nigeria is a very corrupt has a very corrupt system. So, like this lady, is he Edun? Well, I've forgotten the lady, the minister that Tinubu sacked. So when you even want to say that women should be in politics,
Bella.
should,
Bit
yeah,
I do.
yeah, that women should be in power, all those things. Someone will just single out that case and be like, okay, we gave this lady power. Look at what she did. Do you understand? People will only look at the negative. So, but I in Nigeria at the moment, the thing that is preventing women from coming in being in politics is like there is this societal pressure, like this societal tradition that we already have, of which women are expected to be at home, you know. So some people are also saying that based on that expectation, women may not even get the time to, to empower themselves, do what they need to be able to compete outside. And then apart from that also, in politics is a very dirty game in Nigeria. You understand? And let's be honest, there is a difference between men and women. So I believe somehow women, like more men, will be able to go through that process.
Go
It's not
through
even easy
first.
for it's not even easy for the men that is there. So how many women are good? The women that are there that have succeeded being there, they like you need to give them like high five. You understand? If they told you what they had to go through to be there, the attacks they have to withstand every day. Like the Ngozi Okojiwele that you mentioned, I was when I was reading that her book about how Nigeria is corrupt and all that. The only thing, one of the things, it's not like she's not saying it directly, but you can see that even though Jonathan gave her like she will come to Jonathan and be like, we are not getting what we need, let's say from the petroleum ministry, that we need the petroleum ministry to do this, to account for this, account for that. Jonathan will be like, okay, set up a committee and investigate. And then she will set up a committee to investigate. And then the people that are even supposed to report to her will refuse to report to her. The people that are supposed to come to meeting will refuse to come to meeting. You understand? They will be like, "Why are you calling me?" And the underlying tone is there. Just why this woman go call? You get that kind of stuff. Why is this woman? Why should I have to answer to this woman? So you still see that even when they are there, that bias will still somehow creep its head and come out. And then if you like you mentioned in terms of education, because of what they are facing in terms of some women in some culture, let's say if you go to the north, some women they face this they have this gap in terms of education between men and women. Women are not expected to be educated and all that. It also means that the economic capacity for women will never equal that of men. And the politics in Nigeria is capital intensive. Some forms in Nigeria they sell it like as high as 40 million. So among all the the men, it's not even easy for the men, like young men that will want to go into politics based on the amount of cash that they will require to put up, let alone women being able to afford that. So these are some of the barriers that they are facing. But in terms of like the system, in terms of if there is a systemic problem that is preventing women from reaching like being in political offices, I don't think, because Nigeria, that constitution in Nigeria, there was a time, in Igbo law, in Igbo tradition, women are not expected to inherit properties, right? In Igbo tradition, properties usually go to the men. So there was a time, there was a one Supreme Court judgment I read. This was as far back, I think maybe 219 to 20. So the lady, the dad had, I think the dad had the girl from another mother, and then the man remarried, and then got some, like, he got sons. So, but the man was a rich man. So then, when I think when they divided the properties, they said that they're not giving the girl any property, that she's a lady according to Igbo tradition, this and that. So the girl took them to court, and the Supreme Court ruled in her favor. You understand? Saying that according to our constitution, that women, there is, I think there is somewhere in our constitution where it's written that there should be no discrimination based on gender or based on your any affiliation that you have. So the Supreme Court ruled in her favor. So you can see that the, like, because some people might think you might have to fix this with a law. So, and then when they are talking about fixing it with a law, they will think about quota and all that. But I don't think there's something that needs to be. It's just about how the current population is in Nigeria. The current population is mostly ignorant, so people don't have enough sensitization that it doesn't really care whether it's a woman or a man. There is no special power that a man has to rule that a woman doesn't have. So that's my own take on the issue anyway. But I think over time things will get better. But at the moment, I don't believe women are represented equally anyway. But I don't think there's much we can do for now.
Izu say there's doesn't think there's much we can do. So, Izu, you highlighted cultural barrier. You highlighted um, what they call that, economic barrier, which is the
Economic
front.
barriers, yeah.
Yes. So, I want us to talk about political barrier. I
Political
don't
barrier.
think yes, outside
How? What do you mean by
what
political barrier?
okay,
Yeah.
before this year where we saw Labour Party, Peter Obi and Alessoti Fashion giving the party chairman, acting chairman to a woman, I don't think we've had any political party that a woman emerged as the chairman. Maybe
Okay.
there has been one, but I can't think of anyone, right? So if we go by that, aren't we seeing that if women cannot even get to that point, that's the pinnacle of, at the top of the affairs of a political party, there is no way ever that they can even hold the top post in a state or in a country. But I feel like if a woman emerges as a party chairman, the chances of her opening up to giving the party ticket to another woman will be very high. Or what you think?
It's it's never going to be very high. Are you if you have if you want to get into election, right? If you want to be elected, you purchase the form. So after purchasing the form, they feed you for the primary. Whose people are going to vote for the primary? Which people are going to screen you? You understand?
But they lobby all these things. They know how
Yeah,
to arrange
yeah.
it.
In that regard, I just think it has to do. That's now where politics comes in. I mean, I get the fact that there is bias. When I say bias, you guys need to understand that some people, like in most decisions that people make, people don't come and be like, this person is a woman. I'm not, like, if something is going to favor you, we are not going to think about that. Like
Yeah.
P2G they're not bringing that lady in because that lady is a woman that they want to help women. She was there at the right time, and maybe she's friends with one of those people there. So, like, so if she is even making a decision, if you even put women in all the positions, if they are making a decision, they're not going to make it based on the women that are around. Let us put women there. No, it is all based on self-interest. So even if she's there, even if women occupy all the political parties, it's still not going to have the effect that you want it to have, because at the end of the day, it's all about self-interest. You understand? So I don't think having a woman, like, if women are promoted, in major political parties, that they will now start favoring women. I don't think that's going to everybody has to fight for themselves, because the underlying the foundational problem is women being able to attain that height that men already have. So if most women are rich, most women are like connected like men are, then they can compete. So, but they don't have that. They don't have the what they need at the moment to compete. So you saying you are putting a woman there, is it going to go to a kitty
No,
and bring one
so
market woman,
my
and then
point, my point is now is that we agree that this current situation is skewed against women.
of
And
course
David, I
it
want
is.
you to come in here. We agree that it is skewed against women. But then I'm saying, if we have a chance where a woman gets to a certain position, since men have not been helping women achieve that height, do you now think that a woman being there can help other women, be able to? Because definitely it is their story, it is their fight. What do you think? Are you not sure women should be able to help other women, or women are not helping women at all?
I don't think putting a woman there would make that woman help other women. Like I would go with what Izu said, because it would be more of it like a self-interest stuff. And we know that women are like women's greatest enemy. I don't think I would want, yeah. I don't think maybe I've gotten a position and I want another woman to come and like, because I know we would all be competing. There's,
This is a big one.
yeah,
We need to spotlight this part. This is a good talking point.
No,
Women are women biggest enemy.
she just being realistic.
yeah,
She just being
yeah, because I don't
realistic.
think I like, let's say now I'm there and I want another woman to be there. And even if I put another woman there, I feel like you'd want to like go past where I was. Like she'll not be competing with me
Of
to either
course,
get
of
me
course.
off the post. But if I put a man there, he might be more loyal. I can be like, oh, bossing him around. But I don't think putting a woman there, she wants me to boss her around. Like, is it not Irene I know? Why is she the one telling me to do this one? Irene that
Exactly.
didn't even have this thing. But a guy by no mind, because of the personal interest he has, he'll be saying yes ma to me, yes ma, okay, I'll do this for you. So I don't think I'll go with Izu.
No,
It's
no,
like
So,
this,
a self dis.
yes, go on, go on. I'm listening.
yeah, like I don't know, like if I'm to even use, the personal example that I didn't started with when she now became the chief intern among us. Like at that point, Gwen we now saw that this girl represents our interests. You understand? You see that we can go to a length we are happy that someone different is there, that is not our fellow guy, that is there. Is just this, that we're just calm, and then we'll even be ready to go to a length to kind of defend her. You understand? And then in situations whereby women are amongst themselves, you are saying the woman will now bring in another woman. She's not going to do that, because if she brings in another woman, for them at that point is now competition. Like now, just imagine you are having, let's say you
Yeah,
have a president that is a woman in Nigeria, and then a vice president that is a woman in Nigeria. Just imagine those those scenarios. So, but I think most time the dynamic work when there are different genders there to dilute the situation. But you thinking that a woman being there is going to bring in more women? No, it's not going to.
No, no,
It's not
no,
going to
no.
do.
We're talking about raising. We're talking about affirmative action here. Do you know
And
how many $1 million have gone into conversations and advocacies around raising women representation, especially from women?
I
So
personally,
I'm hearing you people say again that women, a woman would not want to now help other women achieve political success. So do you
no,
that's
think
I
not
think
that's
women will
I
not
do
that's
more
not that's not
for
what
that's
I
women
not
said.
than women doing
that's
more
not
for women?
true.
No, 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 no.
No,
I'm saying now, do you people feel now men will do more for women than women will do for women?
that's not for me. That's not where I'm coming from. And I'm saying that
Okay, I want to know where you're coming from.
it is all about self-interest. that when you put women there or when you put a man there, it doesn't matter. The woman is not going to she's not going to wake up in the morning and be like, oh, how am I going to put more women there? How am I going to help more women and bring them up? That's not what she's thinking. She has to think about her survival. If she is putting a woman there, is it going to help advance her? It's self-interest. It has nothing to do with, like, this is not an utopian society.
And empowerment. Like I
Yeah,
don't think they are
it,
there to empower anybody.
she's is not. So I'm just thinking. I'm saying it's self-interest that will be her motivation. Her first motivation is not going to be about women empowerment. You understand? So, and I'm talking about affirmative action that you were talking about. I'm totally against affirmative action, but because I remember that one of the debate that we want to have is about federal character. You know, that thing is a sort of affirmative action. So it has to be merit based. That's why I say that if you want women to be there, you need to try and level the playing field for them. And the only way you can level the playing field for them is if they have access to income, if they have access to education. Those are the things, those are the barrier. Forget about what people are saying. At the end of the day, it's still, even the people that voted, let's say in was it, what state was that the woman contested that we were talking about the other day? That was Tarab. No, it wasn't
Kogi.
Taraba. Adamawa. No, Adamawa.
Adamawa.
Yeah, Adamawa. In Adamawa, it's still a lot of men, a lot of the electorate in Adamawa voted for that lady. You understand? It was a close race. It wasn't even like, even though that we say that APC she's in APC, but it wasn't. If that bias, if like Nigeria, if that bias is so much like we think, she wouldn't even be able to compete with the guy that was it not a sitting governor that she competed against? Was it not? Yeah, and she almost won. I believe people voted for her, and for her to have reached there, she had the money, she had the connection, she had the education that she needed. Those are the things that she needed to be there. So if you want women to be in that place that you're talking about, quota is not going to help them. What is going to help them is solving those foundational problems that we mentioned. So I don't. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah, I understand you. So Izu calls them foundational problem. So guys, we are hitting it deep here. So please do not forget to like, subscribe, please share this link with all your friends and everybody to come in. We want comments that would spur this conversation. But then again, Irene, I'm going to take you back to something you and Izu have constantly been saying here, and I want people to clear it out so I don't leave confused. I'm coming. There's something like political empowerment. That's facts. People need to be. In fact, people have talked about mentorship for women a lot. But then again, I want to ask this question, and I want you to clearly say it with your full chest. Are you saying here now and telling our viewers that women at this point are helpless and that this help cannot come from another woman? I want to also be clear on this. Is it that another woman cannot be the one to provide this help that women seek in our political space? Or does it have to be a man's job to liberate women?
So I don't know how you're twisting it, but I would state that I did not say that a woman cannot help. The the word there is that it's a game of interest. So if I go in there and I know that, okay, my friend, if I put my friend in that or give her that ticket, she's going to have my back, and I could do, this godfatherism. I could give her orders and she's going to do. I'll be like, okay, this project I'm giving you, I need some percentage of it, and she'll stick by it. Then I'll put a woman there knowing that she has my own personal interest. So I would also help a woman. And if this thing it's going to be a man, then it's going to be a man. But not being that, oh, because I'm there, that means even if a woman would not have my back and would not want to like be loyal to me, I will put her there. So that's what we are saying. It's not because, oh,
Yeah,
I'm a woman,
loyalty.
I'll be like, okay,
Exactly.
definitely it has to be a woman. I have to put someone that will be loyal to me, that, oh, you would know that I put you here, I brought you here. Because like it's still going to be a thing. If I'm putting someone there, like I have to bring someone that is loyal. And I don't know, like, how will I put it? I don't think women are very loyal to their very follow women. That's how I would put it. But I think a
Yeah.
man would be more loyal to me than a woman would be, because I think at some point she'll be saying these others are too much. That's how
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, because it's just natural.
Yeah.
So that's where the so it's a yes and no question, like it's a yes and no answer rather.
You are talking about Nigeria specifically, right? So I don't even think the thing, like talking about media in Nigeria, we at the moment we don't have. I mean, I know they are corrupt. Like maybe the different politicians own those media houses, but at the moment we don't have a media that is trying to to force their ideology on people. You know, pretending that that is news. What we have is just a media that is giving news. If you are worthy, they bring you up. I'm not saying that like because when you look at somewhere like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, all those people they have agenda. They have ideologies that they want to push to people that are listening to them. But if you look at the Nigerian media, it's just news. They don't even, there is no investigative journalism in Nigeria. It just except maybe a few people that will like we heard in the news recently. They will just that this woman went to speak to the other people. They will just say there she went to speak to the other people. Nothing much. They are not trying to force their ideology on you. You understand? So I don't think there is a media bias when it comes to that. I just think the if you even if you do you carry out a research and you see that there is a media bias against women, maybe the reason why more maybe the reason why maybe why women are receiving less media attention could it be that they have less newsworthy things to say about them. You understand? So maybe the men have because obviously the media is going to follow who is more newsworthy. You understand? Just like we had in the 2023 election, the newsworthy thing was about P2B and his obedient and what they were doing. At the moment, it's still about them. Almost everything will still have to revolve around them. You understand? So they are going to follow where they will gain more traction. So maybe if you think there is bias in the media, maybe you should ask the question why. It may not really be that this person is a woman or that the like some of the women we have in our even growing up, most people in NTA I think they were even women. Most of those newscasters that we had growing up were women. There is this lady in is it Joy that most people I think most maybe most people like in Arise TV and all that. So they are there, you understand? And it's not. I don't think everything is about that bias. So I don't think there is a media bias as relating to maybe what you're talking about. I don't think maybe they don't have. There is no much reason to talk about them. If no, see this guy. No, if they do something like when Ngozi was there, Ngozi was all over the news. You can't ignore her. You understand? She was implicated in almost everything. They said she was the reason why Nigeria had problems with this and that. She was everywhere. She was going around defending herself. So you can't they when you see something like this, the media guy going to say, no, now this is a woman now. Let's not give her this thing now. No. And then even if a media house is, let's say, is biased against her, could you also think that the opposition party, the owner of that media house, may be affiliated with the other party, so they are trying not to give her a platform because of their interest? Like, I think some things about interest, like whether this thing benefit me, yeah.
things women can give you, but it's not. Yeah, yeah, you're still the one trying to. I said if I see that a woman there can give me what I want, there are some women that have that mental capacity that if I say go and do this, the person like would go that far and want to go dirty the same way I've gone dirty to get it. Then I'll put a woman there. So that means she's also ready to go through that. She has the mental capacity and she's fit for the position. So that's it, making women stay away. Because there are other jobs that are also as dirty as politics is, and women are still doing it. Or if they want a woman there, women are still doing it. Like, yeah, so I feel that's not what is keeping women away from it. We talked about it being capital intensive. So it could also be that, yeah, it's the capital. I won't have someone that will fund me. I won't have the kind of money the man would have to like do it and all of that. So I think women are mentally ready for it, and that's just what I would say.
I agree with Irene that definitely it's not a bad thing to say it. Nigeria is not like the West. Like, politics in Nigeria is a very dangerous game, very very dangerous. So if you have if out of 100 men and out of 100 women in Nigeria, let's say 70% might have the mind to venture into the political world, but among the women it might only be like, let's say, 10 among those 100, this thing, because it is very very dangerous, so they may not actually be ready to face that. And then you can also account to what you talked about the women moving around. Most women in political in a place of power, there's always this perception that the only way they could have gotten there is by sleeping around.
Sleeping their way through.
You understand? So people, if you are looking at a woman, okay, that might be what's ringing on your head. You understand? But it doesn't mean that it's true. But that bias is there. People think so. Some women might actually be like, "Ha, if I'm going to go through this stress, what are people going to say? What are my husband people going to say? Is my husband going to be happy? You know?" And even so, that pressure will also be on the man. I'm coming home and there's nobody here to welcome me. My wife is going to meeting in Abuja in a room filled with men. What is going on there? These are legitimate questions that people will be asking. So those things, yeah, the societal pressure is there as well, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything. The only thing maybe you can do is talk about it more. But I don't think there is anything you can do about that. I still think even that societal pressure will still be in the West. You can't pass a law to remove that that sort of bias. You can't pass a law and then be like, stop thinking about that. There's nothing you can do about that. It's only when, as the population evolve, maybe things might change. But those things are also there too. They are some of the barriers that women are facing, I believe. Shown the solutions during my first speech. I did talk about that the like women need to be empowered in the sense that there is a very high divide when it comes to skill level. You understand? So that skill level is going to reflect in every sector in Nigeria. So even though we have women that are leading bankers, but you are going to have more bankers, more male bankers than female bankers. So the women need to be encouraged to do some of those to empower themselves with some of those hard should I say maybe courses in the university. Then there's also women need to be encouraged to, like, the cultures that prevent women from getting education. That kind of culture should be discouraged. You understand? They need to access education. because there's no way they are going to achieve the reach the highest level in Nigeria without having that education. They need that education. You understand? So these are the things that I believe. These are the practical things I think the Nigerian government or whether state government or local government can take. You understand? But I'm against quota, saying like I think the affirmative there is this accepted affirmative action where they say that 5% should be represented in somewhere like Rwanda or South Africa. I think they said 50% of the political parties must be women or something. They have a law that stipulates that. I'm against such law because I don't think it's going to help anybody. At the end of the day, you end up focusing more on equality rather than merit. So, but if the playing field is leveled for everybody, then you are going to the pool that attracts politicians is going to increase for women, and they will be able to participate more. So that's what I think for me.
Okay. I will add with to what Izu said. I think there should be more awareness that women are not just going to be deputies, that they also can be leaders and not assistants. So you should start from like secondary schools where they can make girls head girl and not assistants head girls and all of that, or assistant
Yeah.
school prefects. So you should start from that. As in classes, we don't just have to be assisting the men. So we know that, oh, Frank said something about skill sets. So as small as we are supposed to be building everybody up, that, oh, your role is not just to assist, you can also lead and people will assist you. So I think if we start with more of awareness, then there would now be that skill set, because maybe someone would have had that skill set of, oh, I've once held this position, oh, I can do this, because there's that awareness that, oh, it's not something that is a rocket science. You can still read and do it. That's just what I'll say. If there's more awareness and it cuts across every, like from local to, I think we can now get into those spaces.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Eto, before you say something, like even what Irene is saying, like because to be honest, in secondary schools, it's as if to say there is this unwritten rule, like in a school, in all these community schools that we have boys and girls. There is this unwritten rule that is only the guy that will become like senior prefect or head boy. Then you have the yeah, you have the girl as the deputy. So I don't know. Everybody just knows that. It's not like I don't know. It's there in Nigeria. You know, everybody just accepted it. Nobody is saying anything about it. So it's there actually. There are some of these unwritten bias that we exhibit here and there. Sha. So that's true. Awareness will definitely help. And I'm sure we are going to see Irene again, right?
Yes.
Just tell people to follow us and subscribe and maybe leave comments if there's anything they want us to discuss. They should also let us know, and maybe we'll get to that as well. Yeah, Irene, any last words?
No, I would say it was a nice time.
Okay, okay, no problem.
It was a nice time here.
Okay, so thank you, everyone.